All right, so I finally got a chance to play the Modern Warfare 2 2022 beta. Game's god awful. It just is. It's just a terrible fucking game. Well, I'll explain why, but no surprise here. I was really hoping the game would be good because I needed a new game. Like, there isn't a lot out right now that interests me. So I was hoping it would be good, but not for a second did I think it would be. So it looks like the video game drought is going to continue for me because, yeah, this game ain't it. I'm down for a new Call of Duty game, right? Like, I'm itching to play a new good Call of Duty or even an old good Call of Duty. But the older CODs that I've tried finding games in, I just can't. And even if you can at like specific times, it's still not as good as having a populated game where you can search whenever you want and whatever playlist you want. So I'm down to play. I'm not like just over COD, you know? A lot of people look at Call of Duty as, you know, it's the same thing every year. It's just Call of Duty, nothing special. And while every Call of Duty game is very similar, even though some are more different than others, there are some COD games that I absolutely hate and others that I absolutely love. So it's not just like COD is COD. They're all the same. No, they're similar, but some are way better than others. So I want to make that really clear. This is not just a matter of me having burnt myself out on COD. I've been playing it for years and it just doesn't excite me the same way anymore. No, that's not it at all. I could go back and play the old CODs, COD 4, and still have a phenomenal time. And I'm not somebody who needs new. I constantly need new stuff. I mean, that'd be great if we could make new games that are as good or better than the previous ones. That's great. But at the end of the day, I'll take the old shit that was actually good over the new shit that is fucking terrible. The last Call of Duty game that I put a decent amount of time into was Modern Warfare 3, if we're talking multiplayer. You see, my first COD game I think was COD 3, and then I think I played Call of Duty 2 Finest Hour, and then Call of Duty 2, but I just played the campaign in all those. My first multiplayer COD was COD 4, and then I bought Call of Duty every year up until Modern Warfare 3, and that was the last one I bought. So I bought COD 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, and that's when I stopped buying Call of Duty games because I realized that the games weren't getting better in my opinion, right? And I didn't have a job at the time. I didn't want to just drop $60 on a new COD every year. No, but in my opinion, the games weren't getting better. I still preferred the older COD games then, like Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. I enjoyed those games. They were good, especially Modern Warfare 2, but I enjoyed COD 4 even more, and Black Ops 1. I played the shit out of Black Ops 1 back in the day. It wasn't my favorite. It's all right. You know, I enjoyed it, but I prefer COD 4 and World at War and MW2 and even MW3 more than that. So, yeah, that's why I stopped buying COD games, because I'm like, yeah, things aren't really getting better, and I don't feel like dropping $60 on a new COD game every year. And honestly, that was kind of like the worst time to quit buying Call of Duty games, because the next COD game was Black Ops 2, and like that's the one that like everybody loved. People absolutely like love Black Ops 2. Many people say it's the best Call of Duty. So I picked a terrible time to stop playing COD. And so after Modern Warfare 3, I didn't get back into COD until Modern Warfare Remastered. That's when I really got back into it, and I played a lot. Modern Warfare Remastered was amazing. I loved that game. I loved it more than the original. Great remaster. Loved that game. Can we all go back and play that? Can we? Can we go play a good Call of Duty, please? Yeah, that game, phenomenal. And like I said, I did like it more than the original COD 4. I guess one, it looked better. But it still looked like COD 4. I like the addition of the medals that they added. When you get kills, you got medals that popped up. I love that shit. Loved COD 4 Remastered. And then after playing COD 4 Remastered, the next time I really played COD was Black Ops 4 just for the Battle Royale. Played that a little bit, not a ton. And then I played Modern Warfare 2019 Warzone Battle Royale. Also not a ton, and I did end up buying Modern Warfare 2019. I probably shouldn't have bought it, but I did buy it because I was enjoying Warzone and I wanted to check out the multiplayer. I wasn't a fan of like the core multiplayer. I did enjoy Gunfight though. I played a decent amount of that. And then Cold War, Vanguard, didn't really play those games other than I think like if they had a beta or a free weekend or something like that. I played a handful of matches and that was it. So didn't really play those games. And now here we are, 2022 Modern Warfare 2 beta. So that's pretty much my entire history with COD. I wanted to explain that so y'all know I'm not somebody who plays Call of Duty every year and I've like burnt myself out or anything like that, because that's not the case. I like playing the good Call of Duty games, not the new Call of Duty games, the good Call of Duty games. I'm like that with any series. Right? Like, I don't switch to the new thing just because it's new. I will stay playing the old shit if it's better. And I can articulate why those older games were better. I don't say they were better just because. No, there's multiple different reasons, multiple different things I can point to as to why those older games were better than the new games. And the other day I put out a tweet saying something like, can we all just go back to the older good COD games instead of playing these new dog shit COD games? And I want to make something real clear. That is not me being mad that people are enjoying new COD games, Modern Warfare 2022. That's not me yelling at you, stop having fun. Like, it's not that. No, what it is me saying, hey, I hate these new COD games. All of you say you hate these new COD games. So the logical thing to do would be, let's go back and play the good COD games, right? The ones we say we all love, right? That is a very sensible take. Again, that doesn't mean that I'm mad people are enjoying new COD games. It's not that at all. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people hate the new COD games, Modern Warfare 2022. So what I'm proposing is a very logical thing. We don't like the new games. Let's go back and play the old games that we love. And again, as I explained at the beginning of the video, it's some of the games I can't find matches in. Okay, so it's not just like, oh, we'll go back and play them then. Oh yeah, real intelligent responses there. And no, I can't find fucking games. And even if there is like a certain time of day where I can get a match in one of the playlists, still, let's go back and populate the game so I could find games at any time or in all the playlists, so it's a better experience. What's so frustrating is how people just flock to whatever's new, right? And people just keep doing that, even if it's bad. And it's not like people like the new shit. No, like some people do, but a lot of people dislike the new shit, and they're aware that it's bad, but they still play the new shit. Can we get away from this? Oh, let's switch over to the new Call of Duty game each year. No, can we just stop? Can we stop that? Or can I don't do that? Can y'all stop that? Whoever that applies to. Again, unless you enjoy if you enjoy the new games every year, good on you, But the people that hate the new COD games and you enjoyed the older Call of Duty games, can you stop switching over to the new COD games each year just because they're new? You know, I act on principle a lot. Like, I will sit here and have nothing to play before I purchase a shitty game, right? I really want a new game to play, man. And it might even be worth buying a new game that I'm not crazy about, as opposed to playing nothing. All right, that might bring me more enjoyment, but nah, man, I'm a man of principle. If I'm not gonna spend money on these dog shit games, dude, I'm just not doing it anymore. If I enjoy the game, that's different. But these newer, not even just COD, man. Obviously, it's happened with Halo. It's happened with COD. It happened with Battlefield. Like, it's happened with many different series where games are getting worse, where the developers are making terrible conscious decisions some of the time. So some of the times the reason games are bad is because of incompetence. And other times it's because they make terrible decisions. And I think the terrible decisions is the case for a lot of the reasons I hate Modern Warfare 22. All right, so with all that out of the way, let's talk about the Modern Warfare 2 beta. I played on PC, and first thing I want to say is the UI is terrible. There's issues with the UI. The way you level up weapons is fucking weird. You gotta use certain weapons to unlock other weapons, really weird. And the weapon customization, the gunsmith, is pretty overwhelming considering how many different weapon configurations you can create. Like, I don't like to hate on variety, but the problem here is that there's so many different attachments that you can pick from on your weapon. I heard you can turn an assault rifle into like an SMG. The problem is these attachments affect how your gun functions, right? Like, we're not talking about just cosmetic customization, right? Oh, you can customize your character and your weapon's appearance in all these different ways. That's different. But when you have all this different shit that affects how your gun shoots and functions, it's like, I don't want that, man. Just give me a couple different guns to select from, and that's it. And let me pick, like, you know, 1 or 2 attachments for it, and that's it. Like, I feel like I gotta look up a guide for the best weapon configurations in this game, which is just annoying. Like, I mean, and that's the thing. Some configurations are going to be better than others. Especially depending on your play style, some will be better for you. And it's like, I instead of just dicking around in the gunsmith and trying what works, I just feel like, all right, I got to look up what the best shit is. It's just really annoying. I prefer the simplicity of creating a class in past Call of Duty games. And again, remember, I haven't really got... MW2 was like the last Call of Duty I bought back in the day, and, you know, I didn't play the later... I didn't play Ghost, I didn't play Black Ops 2, I didn't play Advanced Warfare. There were so many COD games I didn't play, or I only played for like a day. So I know some of those games use different systems, but none of them had this much variety with the weapon customization. All right, so now let's get into gameplay. There's really not too much to say here because the maps are terrible. And because the maps are terrible, nothing else matters. That's it. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I don't care about any other aspect of the game when the maps are this bad. That's it. Fuck everything else about this game when the maps suck this much dick. And the thing that's so frustrating about these maps is that they are intentionally bad. They are intentionally designed the way they are, because ever since I think it was Modern Warfare 2019, I think that's when, like, Call of Duty games, they adopted this new, like, map philosophy to get away from 3 lanes or a few lane maps. And they want things to be more chaotic and random, and they want a lot of different routes to get around the map, a lot of different sight lines. And I just can't stand it. That's the problem. In a game with a fast time to kill, I do not think I think the map should be simpler. In a game with a fast time to kill, the maps should be simpler. Like with Counter-Strike and Valorant, the time to kill in those games is very fast, but the maps are also simple, right? There's not 1,000 different routes to get around the map. Sometimes there's only like 2 routes to push onto a site. And there's not a bunch of clutter on the map, like a bunch of grass and trees and rocks and cars and all this different stuff obstructing your view, or things that people can hide behind and peek through like a little crack to get a line of sight on you. No, it's pretty open. There's not a ton of shit on the map, and that's how I think it should be in a game with a fast time to kill. I think players who win a gunfight should be players that have the faster response time and the better aim. I don't like the idea of somebody coming around a corner and they die to somebody because they didn't see that person, because that person was laying in the grass hiding. You can get away with that stuff in a game with a longer time to kill because you have time to react to it. In a game with a fast TTK, there's no time to react. When I was playing the Modern Warfare 2 beta, man, there were so many times I'm just getting shot in the back, man. So many times, either because enemies spawn behind me or there's just so many routes on the map where they can wrap around and get behind you. There's spots on the map where as you're moving through, there's like 1,000 different sight lines you can get shot from, and you can't watch every sight line at the same time. Like, that's a problem. And this promotes camping, man. This promotes sitting in a corner. You know how many people are just laying prone, sitting in a corner? They don't want to move around the map. They don't want to move around the map because there's so many lines of sight they can get shot from. So they just sit in a corner, sit in a room, lay prone, peek a corner and just hold that. Because there's just too many angles to get shot from, man. I was doing it. I started just laying prone, sitting in a fucking corner with a shotgun. I was fucking doing it. Now, yeah, there are some people who will run around the map with their crazy movement. And I'll just say it right now, if that's how you play the game and you're doing well, a lot of that is luck. A lot of that is luck because there's so many different lines of sight on these maps and you can't watch them all at the same time. So you kind of gotta hope that certain players aren't in certain positions, and you gotta hope if they are that they miss their shots on you. A lot of this game is just random, like it really is, and you also gotta hope that people aren't just camping in corners, laying prone, and hiding with shotguns and stuff like that. Like when I see gameplay of people running around the map getting tons of kills in the Modern Warfare 2 beta. I see, first, I mean, there's some skill involved, sure, but I see less of the skill aspect here and more of the luck aspect because there's so many different times in the gameplay where I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, if there was a player over there, he'd be dead. If there was a player over there, he'd be dead. If there was a player over there, he'd be dead. He's lucky that there isn't a player there. He didn't know there's not a player there. He doesn't know there's a player's not going to run around that corner. He doesn't know. A lot of it is luck. A lot of it is luck. There's just so much luck involved in this game. In the older games, in COD 4, the maps were much simpler. You had your 3-lane maps. You had maps with, now maybe wouldn't fit the definition of 3 lanes, but they were very simplistic. There was only a couple routes players could take, minimal sight lines. And so in those games, you had players winning gunfights because they had the better aim or the faster aim. When maps in like the Modern Warfare 2 beta, a lot of the time people are dying from players catching them off guard, from shooting them from behind because of the way these maps are laid out and how all the different routes that are available and all the different lines of sight that you have on these maps. How well you did in a game like COD 4 was less dependent on luck than a game like Modern Warfare 22. Now, a strategy that I used a lot in the older COD games like COD 4, and this is something that is very hard or impossible to do in Modern Warfare 2022, is isolation. So I'm talking about blocking certain angles while you watch a specific spot. And that doesn't apply to just being stationary. No, you can be moving around, and as you turn a corner, you clear one angle at a time while you block all the other angles. Now, this is much harder to do in Modern Warfare 22, and I don't say it's harder as in it takes more skill. No, what I mean is it's more luck involved. You're put into these situations where your success is less dependent on your skill and more dependent on where the other player just so happens to be when you peek that corner. It's much harder to isolate these lines of sight, like you watch one spot while blocking all these other lines of sight. That's just not how these maps are designed. There's way too many lines of sight, way too many routes to get around the map. And again, the time to kill in this game is very fast. So you peek a corner, and then there's like 30 different lines of sight on you. You better hope that you pick the right spot to check when you peek the corner. So that's another reason I say skill is less of a factor in how much success you find in this game. And I know some people would say COD isn't a competitive game, or it's just, casual fun, whatever. I mean, I don't care. People do play it competitively, but I do think skilled players should be rewarded. Like if you are good at the game, you should be able to dominate a lobby and get tons of kills and all your kill streaks. But it feels like with the later COD games, especially Modern Warfare 22, it feels like they wanted to nerf the good players. They don't want players who have a lot of map knowledge and spawn knowledge just dominating. Like they're trying to get away from that. It's like they want to help the lesser skilled players do well by designing the maps in this way, and some of the other decisions that they've made as well, which we'll get to. Oh, and one more thing on line of sight isolation that I was talking about. I wanted to provide this example. You know the map block from Call of Duty 4 with the apartment building on each side? You can only access the first 2 floors of that apartment building on both sides. If that map was in Modern Warfare 2019 or Modern Warfare 2022, that you'd be able to go on every floor of that apartment building. You'd be able to look out every window. There would be way too many sight lines. But in COD 4, it was just the first 2 levels. So it's much easier to isolate, 1 or 2 different lines of sight at a time, and you can clear it one by one. If that map was in Modern Warfare 2022, you'd turn a corner and you'd have to deal with 4 levels of windows people are shooting out, or however many levels that building was. And hey, I'm just going to throw this out there. If we're going to have, if this is how map design is going to be in Call of Duty going forward, maybe we go back to an advanced warfare type movement. Maybe we do that. So there's more ways to outplay your opponent. It's not just a matter of them holding an angle, you run around the corner, and then you get shot from all these different lines of sight. With advanced movement, you'd be able to thrust and double jump, or whatever the movement mechanics were in that game. There'd be more room to outplay your opponent. I don't know. Maybe advanced warfare would be better with this type of map design. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Now, another problem with Modern Warfare 2022 is no red dots on the map. No red dots on the minimap when players are firing their weapon or an unsuppressed weapon. I don't know. Again, I haven't played every COD, so I don't know which CODs have done that. But I remember in the CODs that I played, when you were shooting an unsuppressed weapon, you showed up as a red dot on the minimap. Infinity Ward's reasoning for this was to not punish players for shooting their weapon. Like I don't know what kind of logic that is. I mean, essentially you're punishing everybody else that can't see the red dot on the minimap when somebody is firing their weapon. Players are punished by sprinting because they can't shoot their gun as they're sprinting. Players are punished from moving around the map because footsteps are so fucking loud in this game, and we'll get to that. You could argue a ton of things punish the player. Like fall damage. Oh, I'm punished from jumping off of a building. Oh, that's not right. That's punishing the player. It's just a very dumb argument. I mean, that's just a really weird way to phrase it. It's punishing the player. Nah, it's better for gameplay when you show up on the map, when you shoot it, when you fire an unsuppressed weapon, and you can use suppressors to not show up on the minimap. Like that's how it was in previous COD games. You use a suppressor and you don't show up. That's what that's for. So if players don't want to show up on the minimap from firing their weapon, they can do that. They have the option. Yeah, so just all around terrible fucking decision there, and that's another reason that these maps are so bad, because there's no red dots. So you can't use unless you have a UAV. But if you don't have a UAV and people are firing their weapon and you can't see where they are on the minimap, it just makes the flow of these maps even worse. Also, like I mentioned, footsteps are so loud, so that's another reason people don't want to move around the map. They already don't want to move around the map that much because of all the different lines of sight. But footsteps are loud as shit as well. So think about that. Like, not only do you have to deal with all these different angles you can get shot from with this type of map design, but they also hear you coming because your footsteps are so fucking loud. So people don't want to move. People want to sit in rooms and crouch and go prone and camp, and that's what it is. That's what I dealt with a lot. I mean, there were situations where, like, I would be in a room and like another enemy player would be around the corner, and we both knew each other were there. We seen each other. We knew where we were, but nobody wanted to peek each other. Nobody wanted to push, because when you push, if he pushes around the corner, he's exposed to not only me, but like 30 other fucking sight lines. If I push around the corner, I'm exposed to so many other sight lines. You know, I can't just isolate him and deal with him and while blocking all the other sight lines. You can't do that a lot of the time with this dog shit map design. I can't stand it. Like I said before, there's no point in talking about anything else. Nothing else matters to me when the maps are this fucking bad. I've said it before, I'll say it again for people that haven't seen my past videos, but map design is very important to me in video games. If maps are not good, there is a good chance I'm not going to enjoy the game at all. Like, that's it. If the maps suck, all right, fuck the game. Done. Get it out of here. If the maps are good, then I can deal with some other issues, but nah, not when the maps are this bad. It's fucking horrible. It's a damn shame too. It's a damn shame because these are conscious decisions that Infinity Ward is making. Like, this is how they want it to be. This isn't just like they made maps that just, you know, where they tried to make a good map and it just wasn't as good as the older maps. Now, this is a case of where they're intentionally making it shit, intentionally doing it. And they've heard player feedback regarding like the mini map and the footsteps, and they don't want to act on it. They want it to be shit. This is crazy. Another issue with this game is the muzzle flash when firing your weapon. A lot of the time it blocks visibility. It's hard to see the player you're shooting at, or even multiple opponents if they're close to each other. Just really hard to see that, so that needs to be toned down. They did say they are going to be making some changes to that. And another issue with this game, and this is something that exacerbates the problem of these maps having way too many routes and lines of sight and too much clutter, that is the fact that an enemy player's name does not appear above their head like it did in past CODs. And I think it was Battlefield 4 that had the health bar and the name above a enemy player's head, which I really liked. Yeah, you don't have that. Nothing appears above the enemy's head. So they blend in with the map more. So they blend in more. And there's dead bodies on the ground, and sometimes you can't tell the difference between a dead body and an actual player. Like, a name doesn't appear above their head. So again, this is a game with a fast time to kill. So you're coming around a corner, right? You're looking around a corner. You see all these different 30 different fucking lines of sight you got to check. Right? You got enemy names not appearing above their head. So much clutter that players can hide behind. You're fucked. You are fucked. There is so much luck involved there. You just got to hope you check the right spot. And since it's a fast time to kill, if there is somebody if there is somebody holding a line of sight that you didn't check, you're dead, because the time to kill is so fast. You don't have time to react. This is just so, it's so bad. It is so bad. There's really not much else to say, man. And again, I think Infinity Ward wants it this way. It seems like they're trying to nerf good players. They want people to just be able to run around the map and pick up kills, even if they're not very good. They want them to catch the good players off guard by, you know, showing up behind them, or, you know, holding a line of sight that they weren't watching. They want it to be random and chaotic, and it's just a horrible experience. They don't want good players dominating a lobby, and I don't see the problem at all with rewarding a player for being skilled at the game. And last thing I wanted to talk about is the skill-based matchmaking. Again, not much to say on that. Is what it is. Skill-based matchmaking is stupid in social. I've never liked it in social. Social should be social. Listen, it's not a matter of just like being mad that you're playing against good players. I don't care. I like ranked. I like that experience playing against other good players, but not in social. Like, in social, you should be able to match whoever, right? If I match sweats every game without skill-based matchmaking in place, then so be it. But when the game is intentionally trying to put you in sweaty matches in social settings, is just stupid. I don't like that at all. That's what ranked is for. And a lot of Call of Duty games don't even launch with a ranked playlist. Like, give me a ranked playlist. I'll be in there. I will be playing the sweaty matches, but I'll also have a rank to show for it. In social, it should be social. Anybody can match anybody. That's how it should be. But I guess, I mean, people have voiced their opinion on this for years, so I guess skill-based matchmaking isn't going anywhere. Maybe it will, but yeah, it's just, it's in Modern Warfare 2. It's in the beta, so yeah, it's doesn't look good. So that's going to do it for this one. Those are my thoughts on this game. I'm not somebody who's just bored of Call of Duty, who's just played it so much and I don't find excitement in it anymore. No, I can enjoy a good COD game. I can enjoy a good old COD game still. Yeah. It's just a matter of these newer games being shit. It's not just COD games, it's Halo. It's a lot of different games. Battlefield 2042. How is Battlefield 2042, by the way? Anyone that's playing that. Is that good now? Can I go play? Can I get that now and play that? Maybe that'll be my new game. I don't know. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2 2022. It ain't it. Game sucks, and yeah, I'm probably not buying it. Well, I'm most likely not buying it. Unless something drastic changes between now and launch. Anyways, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.